sometime later this evening. They take forever to frickin' optimize now. YouTube has done so much stuff for like optimizing videos. They take a coon's age to ever upload, so they end up going up in the morning and then they upload late in the evening. You know what I mean? So it's like, but whatever. So what I want to discuss on this is the use of AI and using it to generate content and different things like that. Um, and whether or not it's really good or bad in using it. And before I go too far in this, I don't think it's inadvertently bad if it is used properly or in very implemental ways. I don't see anything wrong with using it if you're trying to create certain little aesthetics and things like that. And I don't really mind if they use it for like imagery and stuff like that. Like when people were really, really mad about the Blood of Dawnwalker, them using it to create the murals and stuff like that, there was a lot of backlash and a lot of things about that. And honestly, I don't really give a shit about that. Like, you can say all you want that it should be, actual artists that are creating that stuff and everything like that, but it is much a my God, I can't talk today. It is such a small facet of the game. Who gives a fuck? Like, I really don't care that they used it to create murals and other things like that for imagery. What I care about is when they are using it to basically generate everything. Like, if they are literally using it to completely build how the game looks, that is taking away complete creative minds in building all of that. For me, there's a whole, like, because it's almost like kind of set design, right? When you build a game world or you build anything of that sort, or even like a film, like, there are artists and stuff like that that actually sit down and they draw all this stuff out and they create how these worlds are going to look. If you start using AI to do that, you are taking away such creative minds of that stuff and just using a bot. And yeah, you might come up with something cool, but you're taking away the chance for these people that are super, super creative, by the way, and you're just throwing it away to this bot and having it just generate something for you. And when it doesn't look good, you go, do it again, change this, give it a little aesthetic. You're just prompting something that's just building it for you. And it's such a loss and lack of creativity. It really does not do anything for the people that literally have those jobs for a reason. And it takes so much away from those people. And so it's just really, really ridiculous. And I don't understand why they would think it's okay to do that. Now, on the other side, I think it is okay, like I said, for generation of images, things like that. And I personally myself, I have done it myself. I've taken stuff and I've been like, okay, let's try this. Let's get this look. And I use it even on here. Like, I use it to like generate things sometimes for like backgrounds and stuff, cuz you know what? It's nice to have something to look at besides just the person talking to you about something. It gives kind of a unique thing to kind of just engage. For me also, it's fun because I engage in stuff like that, that I use it to help people with certain things. One thing I got involved in, sorry, I'm losing my voice, is there is a group and everything like that that I have got involved with, that they request different images and things like that to be changed. Gosh, I'm losing my voice. Changed, touched up, and everything like that. Or have someone removed that they no longer want in the images and stuff like that. And it's a lot easier to just use AI to do that, right? So I do that at times and stuff like that to really, really help with these kind of things. And sometimes I get some very like interesting ones where, someone's lost someone and they want something that's like a really, really creative, cool thing. seeing them with angel wings. I've seen ones where, like a grandfather or a father was lost and everything like that, and there's, a young child and everything like that, and they want them where, they have wings and they're kind of like draping their arms around the child or whatever, a very protective looking thing, like they're their new guardian angel, stuff like that. And I think those are okay. I think the use of that is a really beautiful thing, and you can do some really beautiful stuff for people. And I think that that is okay, and that is where it should be used and implemented because you can do some very beautiful things for people. What I am starting to have a problem with, though, and I'm seeing it more and more, though, is AI uses so many different sources for its information. So when you ask it questions, it's taking information from wherever it can find it. I don't know if you've ever watched, like, if you ever use it, like, for asking questions and stuff like that, especially on, like, Google and stuff. You'll literally see, like, little head points of the different sites and sources that it's pulling from. They literally scroll by, and there's like a ton of them that just keep, you'll see it as it's generating its information. It's just scrolling all of these different icons for these different source websites. Here's where I have a problem with this. And they say they're trying to remove this and stuff like that. But they use sources like Wikipedia and others that are very similar. And I don't know if some of you know, but Wikipedia, a lot of information on this, that site specifically, was put there by people. It's not fact checked, it's not looked into. Anybody, I don't know anymore, I've never gone on there anymore, but back in the day, you used to be able to put whatever you thought was fact. You could add your own information to it, saying that it is a part of the fact of whatever the thing is that you're looking into. So you have a bunch of things from random people that are on Wikipedia. Well, that is one of the sources that Google AI uses for information. So there's a lot of misinformation that Google gives you. And I have caught it so many times because I use it. It entertains me, right? I love to ask it questions and see it fuck up sometimes. And so then I'll be like, wait, but I know this is this way, and da 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 da. And then I'll always, always it goes, oh yes, I'm sorry, da 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 da, and then it corrects the information. Or it gets it as close to correcting the information as it can with all of its really twisted, messed up sources. But here's what I'm starting to see with the use of AI and everything like that. People are believing what they're reading from this because people use search engines and stuff like that to learn things. And so when you have something that's feeding you an answer to your question, people are just believing it. And they're starting to believe wrong information. And so then you have all these people that have this wrong information that's getting fed into their minds, and they're going out there and they're spreading it and they're saying their stuff, and they sound like fools. Why? Because they're believing a Google AI bot that told them so, because it pulled information from a wrong source. And you see this more and more and more. And all these people are going out here and saying, oh, well, I saw this and this and this and this, and I saw this and this and this and this. Well, darling, you're wrong. And so is the AI bot that told you so. So it's just, you have to be very careful. And we're seeing more and more and more where technology is starting to take over actually taking action by people. And so people are getting progressively more and more lazy. I'm sorry, but it's true, guys. We're seeing this more and more and more. People rely more and more and more on AI and bots and other things to do things for them than actually going and doing stuff. And this is in anything and everything. I mean, how many times have you seen or known your friends that literally probably live just down the way from whatever fast food place they're ordering from, but instead of doing it, they get on and they do their ordering apps and everything like that and have it sent to them by some random Joe Smo? When they could go and they could spend less if they just drove their ass down there to pick up the food. People would rather pay more money to a random thing to have some random Joe Smo deliver it to them. This is laziness, guys. This is literally people just wanting easiness and convenience of technology and stuff like that. So they have to do less. And as things start to progress and more of this stuff starts to come out there, you are going to see more of this start happening because people are going to want to do less things. So they're going to start using this very convenient technology and everything like that so they can get stuff just done for them. And you're starting to see it all over the place. Like I just mentioned with the, delivery apps and stuff like that. People are getting lazier and lazier and they're ordering from these even when they live just down the way from wherever they're ordering from. They don't want to go pick it up, which actually would be less money for them. They'd rather fork out the extra money to have some random guy or girl come and deliver it to their door. And it's just laziness. And also these things, and I know some of this is convenience in some ways because some people actually go and like, they'll have stuff delivered from, like Walmart or whatever to their door and everything like that. And sometimes that's just convenience because sometimes you're out and you're busy and you're doing things. Hello, glad to have you here, Yasmin. I appreciate you being here. Oftentimes it is just people just being lazy. They don't want to go and pick up the items. But sometimes it is convenience. And I'm not saying that this is not a thing because sometimes you're out and you're doing things. I know people have lives, they have errands, and sometimes having the stuff delivered is just more convenient. And that is fine. But when it comes down to you just not wanting to go and do something and you'd rather, sit at home and just do nothing and have everything done for you, that's laziness. And we're going to progressively start seeing this more and more and more as things become more convenient to people. Yes, because that is the progression that we're seeing. The further we go along with technology, more and more things are becoming progressive. What they like to say is accessible. Anybody could use it. Hello, Carter. I appreciate you being here. And so when this happens, we're going to see where people are just doing less for themselves. And when this happens, everybody's going to be kind of just become shut-ins. You're not going to see a whole lot of interaction. It's going to be the people that have the jobs of porting whatever it is. They're really going to be the only active ones. And I'm not saying everybody's going to fall into this, but as technology and AI progresses, people are going to start doing less for themselves, and they're going to stop thinking for themselves because they are going to trust that AI is going to give them the answers. And as I was saying before, one of the problems with that is AI pulls its answers from a gajillion different sources. And so some of these sites are like Wikipedia, where people can put in their own facts into the source. Yeah. I don't know if Wikipedia is like that anymore, but it was back in the day. And I don't think a lot of that stuff was removed. There was a lot of things that back in the day on Wikipedia, people could just put whatever they thought was fact onto a subject in Wikipedia, and it was just accepted as a factual thing. So, with that kind of a site, as well as any others that are similar to it, being a source that AI for Google and whatever pulls from, your answers that are being given by this thing is pulling from those sources. And so you get a lot of misinformation. You do. When you ask Google things, I don't know how many times I have caught Google giving me the wrong answers. And I call it out. I straight up respond and go, this isn't factual as of da 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 da, and I list out things, and then it's always the same response. Oh, I'm sorry, and then it gives me a change of answer. I have caught Google AI so many times giving me wrong information, and I always call it out. And I go, well, I know this. And then it's always, it backtracks and it goes, oh, I'm sorry, and it gives me a different answer. And typically it's the correct one because it pulls from a different source. But that's the problem, is I'm one of the few that will question things if I feel it doesn't sound quite right. There is a lot of people out there who will just accept whatever answer they're given because they want to just trust it. They want to just go, you know what, that's fact, that's how it is, that's how it should be, and they just run with it. And that's why you see so many people going out there with these crazy sounding arguments because they genuinely think they're right because an AI bot told them so. And I know that probably sounds crazy, but people genuinely want to trust a source that they ask questions from. And, you know, it's not as crazy as it sounds because when you go and you ask those questions and you are doing those things like that, you want to trust a source that you're asking, right? I mean, if you went to your friend and everything like that that you thought was really knowledgeable, it'd be no different, correct? You would want them to give you the answer and everything like that, and you would trust that they would know what they were talking about. But if they didn't, would you really question them? Would you really be like, well, are you sure about that? No, 9 times out of 10, you're going to trust that your knowledgeable friend knows what the hell they're talking about. It's the same thing with this technology. People just want to trust that something that is connected to a search engine that should be able to pull all sorts of information should know what it's talking about. So when it doesn't, people don't question it. And so they just run with whatever answers that this AI search engine is giving them and they just accept it as factual. That is a problem. That is a super strong problem because when you run with misinformation, that can cause a lot of hate and miscontent, you know what I mean? Hi, Barely Alive. So I'm talking about different like AI and technology and how we are kind of falling to the use of it and becoming kind of uh, lazy in doing things for ourselves and thinking for ourselves. Because a lot of the things that is going on is we are accepting AI answers and sources as just fact. When there is a lot of misinformation, they pull from sources like Wikipedia and other things where people are allowed to put their own opinions into facts on the sites. Well, AI search engines pull sources and any information from those sites. You literally can see when you ask them questions, it scrolls all the icons for the different websites. So when this happens, there's a lot of misinformation. Why would I want to fight you? So, so I just want to let people know that you can't trust everything you read from these. And as I stated before, I have caught these search engines that use AI in so many lies from these different things because it pulls from these bad sources. So just know that you can't trust everything you read. You have to kind of think for yourself and go, that doesn't sound right. Question it. And 9 times out of 10, it'll change its answer. That's the funny thing. And so just know that you have to kind of think, you have to think for yourself. And if something just doesn't sound right that AI is telling you, it probably isn't. So just know that that is really the ultimate thing is you got to think for yourself. But also the other side of it too, like I said, is don't let yourself fall to using these apps and other things for everything you do. Unless there's a really, really good reason, don't sit there and just use it to just have stuff delivered to you, especially if you're right down the way from wherever. Because one, you're just paying more for a service that you could do yourself and spend less money. And not get pressured into tips, by the way, because that's the new thing for these delivery drivers. They are pressuring people to give tips, and there are these drivers that will not give you your food if you do not tip them. And there is no repercussions, apparently, for this. That's really sad, don't you think? I think that's wrong. I don't think that should be a thing. But we're seeing it more and more and more. I have seen so many videos where people on the Ring doorbells, and I know some of these are like AI created shit and everything like that. I'm not a total fool, but it started somewhere. This idea started somewhere, which means that people have done it. People don't just come up with this shit. This shit does happen, and then it starts, and then it becomes a thing, and then a fad, and then all of a sudden AI videos are made, and everybody starts having content everywhere, right? But it always starts somewhere, which means someone somewhere did it. And so, just do things for yourselves. That is true. That is true. You know, one thing that I've been seeing a lot of, uh, thank you for that, Barely Alive. Actually, that's really helpful. That leads me into another thing I wanted to discuss about AI. We are seeing it being used to spread hate and discontent against different groups. It's being used against ICE. It is being used against white people, black people. We're seeing these AI created videos of people like beating people and stuff like that. And when you start really deep diving, either AI is changing certain aspects of the video, so there's things that make it a little bit darker or make it seem a little more cruel, to where it's completely generated. Like we're seeing some that are just completely not true. And you have to be really careful of those because dependent on the AI generative video sources they have, if they are someone that is using this to monetize, they have more money to pay for the higher end AI generative video creators, generators. So they can create higher end content that looks more realistic. And when people do this, they can create very, very realistic looking videos. And they do this to spread either happiness or more often than not, and we're seeing this more and more often nowadays, to spread hate. And I hate that that's the world that we live in now. And one of the bigger things is they love to use it to spread lies. AI is the biggest thing for lies. Because what is it? It is literally content that you are creating and you are making up. Even if it's something that you are doing that is good and kind hearted, it is lies. It's all fake. Very true. Very true. I hate that that is true, Barely Alive, because we are seeing it nowadays. You know, it is such a dark thing because the media nowadays has a very strong thing that they are trying to push. They have an agenda of how they want us to believe and see things nowadays. And so we are seeing people that are affected by this that are creating their own things. They're spinning their own little tales and they're putting out their own webs and everything like that. And they're pulling in certain people into this. And they want people to believe what they are trying to push out and affect on people. And so we're seeing this all over the place. And there's a lot of stuff of where people are pushing different beliefs on the government, ICE agents, the, you know, liberal activists and stuff like that that are out there that, how their feelings. One of the other big ones is pride. Lately, pride has become a huge thing, and there is so much like going on with that on like both sides. The people that are like, trying to spread their love, through like Christian things, Mormon things, whatever, and stuff like that. And then you got the pride that are pushing back against it because they feel that those are hate groups against them and everything like that. But then we're seeing where these pride people are getting so offended by this that they're becoming almost violent towards the people that are trying to spread their messages and everything like that towards them and everything like that. And there's just a lot of hate and discontent. There's not a lot of connection between people. And I feel that, as we push into these technologies and stuff like that, we're getting more to where people can create just this bullshit stuff where there's a lot of like fake violence that is happening and stuff like that, and people want to believe it because when people see atrocities, it is sad, but they are so quick to just believe that these things are happening and real. And I'm not saying that there's not a lot of bad things happening, because there are. There's been a lot of just random deaths, and I hate to say it, but one of the things that I keep seeing is there have been some crazy murders and stuff like that, and people are being let go for it. People are straight up going and killing people, and they're saying, oh, they're crazy. They can't go to prison. No, I'm sorry, that's bullshit. And those people that are in the system that are allowing that, those judges and stuff like that, need to go to prison themselves. When you are allowing people to just be slaughtered and killed, I actually just saw a thing not that long ago where a black woman went and killed all of her roommates, every single one to the last, and they let her go. They had her on footage literally leading one of them through a door, shoved her through the doorway before heading with a pistol in her hand up the stairs to where their room flat was and everything like that, and then coming back down and heading out through the side door with her pistol. She was acquitted. They said there was not enough evidence. Her holding the gun wasn't, enough to know that, oh yeah, she's probably the one that just shot everybody. And it's crazy. And yeah, no, I know. It's crazy. The one that everybody loves to talk about. And I'm sorry, I know I'm getting off subject here a little bit. I apologize. But I'm trying to touch on reality versus what people are creating that is fake. That young woman that was killed by a black man on the bus, she died terrified. And because a judge decided that his insanity plea should stick, he's not going to see a single day of prison. He had her terrified and murdered her. And nothing's going to be done. Because he's crazy. It boggles my mind, and it really, really bothers me that this is the way the world is now. It does. Because we are literally seeing things fall to a faulty system. And it is because there is an agenda, and I don't know fully what it is yet. I've been mentioning different things that I've been seeing. There's a lot that has been pushing the Islamic movement in our country, here in America. Look into that yourselves. There's a lot that you can see, and the Islamic leaders and Islamic people are not afraid to say that they will kill for their religion. They will kill and slaughter any infidels that get in their way and speak out against them. The Islamic Brotherhood is also listed that they will make sure that Islamophobia is believed and that anybody that speaks against them will be sued, and so it'll become expensive to speak out against their people. So we are literally seeing the use of all of this stuff to spread different things around. And they also use it as lies to cover up what they are doing, because they want us focused on other stuff, so all of this stuff starts pushing. And so as we're focused and distracted on all of this AI content that's out there, all this stuff that's make-believe and everything that people want to believe, the real shit that's happening is happening way over here, and you're never going to see it because you're so focused on other stuff. It's literally a smoke and mirrors. It is like an illusionist show, guys. They're using all this stuff that's flashy, got you distracted over here, and while you're looking over here, they're doing the sleight of hand over here. And all this shit, all this agenda and stuff like that they're pushing, all of a sudden all these new enacted laws and things like that are happening. So while they got you kind of just looking over here, hey, keep looking over here, we're doing this over here. You know how many laws have already been enacted to push for Islamic mosques and things, and the Islamic people to not be outcast as religions here and everything like that? Those are already being enacted in multiple states, especially over on the West Coast, by the way. They are already allowing to where Islamophobia is actually becoming a thing, that if you start actually speaking out against Islamic people as a whole, you will be punished for it. You can be sought out and taken to a court of law, and there are different things. You can be fined along being sued by whomever and everything like that. They are literally looking to completely push this. And it's like, it boggles my mind. It really does. And so AI is one of the biggest distractions. And so, yeah, no, and do not be afraid of that. There is no offense to speaking out against a people that are openly pro-murder, pro-pedophilia, and rape. It's funny. They have all these things where they were using AI to kind of keep people distracted and stuff. And then the gentleman, Mamdani, from New York City. I think he's a mayor. I haven't really paid attention to what his political title is, but he's one of the, the major government over in New York City. I have mentioned this multiple times. He straight up has said, more than once, that if they went based off of Islamic beliefs on sexual assault and rape, it would drop to 0 in New York City. He straight up said that. The crime rates for that would drop to 0 if they went based off of their beliefs of those types of things. So he's basically saying that they believe that none of that is happening in their eyes if they went based off of their rule. Hey man, I'm not trying to like be a dick about this stuff and everything like that, but it is very strongly like thought of over there. And like, I mean, it straight up says things in the Quran. I have literally looked into this and looked into some of their verses and stuff like that, and it straight up talks about killing infidels. Well, what is an infidel? An infidel is someone that is not of their religion. It literally states that if you are not, basically, it's like if you're not one of them, you're the problem and they kill you. That's how they see you. So, but anyways, I just want to kind of wake people up to the fact that AI is being used to make you not think for yourselves, to distract you, and to make you lazy. Because the more they can push this, the more they can use this against you and everything like that and make that happen, the less able you're going to be able to think for yourself and actually take action when stuff starts to happen in this country. And that's exactly what they want. They don't want you to be able to take action. They don't want you to think for yourself, because when you can't do that, all these people that want to come in and step on this country and everything like that are going to have the upper hand, because Americans are going to just fall to just believing anything and being extremely lazy and having bots and apps and everything else do everything for them. So, anyways, I think I'm going to end it here. I don't have much more to say on this, but I appreciate everybody being here, and I'll be speaking on more subjects. So I always say this, I don't push this, but if you want to be able to be amongst the first to know when I jump on and I'm doing live streams, subscribe is the quickest way. It lets you know when I'm on and I'm doing a live stream. It'll notify you. So definitely, if you want to hear more, if you want to be in on these discussions and let me know your thoughts and everything like that, please come back, subscribe, have a chat with me. I appreciate you barely alive. You've been pretty consistent through this, so I appreciate you for being here. Love y'all. Jack the Stripper out.